Hello and welcome to a THG Racing Tamiya 101 video. It's been a long time since we've done this Tamiya 101 videos, but today we will be discussing a very important aspect of the Tamiya Mini 4-wheel drive racing car. Before we go any further, I would like to give a disclaimer for this video. Every racer has his or her own strategy on using these different kinds of gears. Another one is my discussion is purely on the theoretical aspect, and it will be on you, racer, who's watching this video, will be the one to decide in endgame situations which gear would apply to your strategy and to that specific track that has been laid out in front of you. So let's get started. I personally don't know which one of these gears would be classified as the high speed, the super speed, and the low speed, but for all intents and purposes in this video, we'll be naming this gear as the low speed gear. This one would be the high speed gear, and this one would be the super speed gear. So these group of gears on this row, they are what you call the counter gears. They will be the ones they are the ones that are interacting directly to the pinion gear that is found in your motor. The lower row is what you call the spur gear. From the shape of it, it looks like the spur in the cowboy's boots, so hence its name. So this one is attached to the wheel axle, which would then connect to the counter gear. So the motor pinion contacts with the counter gear and then follows a contact with the spur gear. So for the low gear, it is paired with a blue counter gear and a light green spur gear. So the ratio of this gear is the 5:1 gear. The next one is the high speed gear, which would then have a black and red counter gear paired with a brown spur gear. And lastly is the super speed gears, which you have a light blue and a green counter gear paired with a yellow spur gear. So now that we've covered the basics, let's go to the purposes of each gear pairing. Now, in every racetrack layout, there are always challenges, whether it be a slope, a tabletop, a bridge, or a rainbow lane changer. It is for you, the racer, to have that discretion which gear would suit based on your strategy and based on the layout. So the low speed gear is best in terms of acceleration and climbing, so that would pertain to the slopes and the tabletops. But the drawback is that it is very bad when in terms of speed. So when you have a track that is mostly flat and straights, then you will be losing speed, or you will be left behind if you would be using this gear. But if the racetrack were to have multiple obstacles or a very technical layout, this would be one of the options that you can choose, since it has a greater acceleration and greater climbing abilities. Next is the high speed gear. First, let's go to the red and brown pairing. This is the 4.2:1 pairing or gear ratio. So, in terms of acceleration, it has a better acceleration compared to the low speed gear. It also has a better climbing ability compared to the low speed gear, and it is not as bad in terms of speed. Now, it would depend on the kind of motor that you will be using. The next one is the black and brown pairing, which is the 4:1 gear. In terms of acceleration, it is the average. It has an average acceleration. For the speed, it also has an average speed as well as climbing. So you could say that the black and brown pairing of the 4:1 would be in the middle part of this gear ratios. Next, we go to the super speed gears. The first one is the green counter gear paired with the yellow spur gear. In terms of acceleration, it is not as bad as compared to the light blue. It has a better speed output, and it is also not bad as climbing. Lastly is the light blue counter gear paired with the yellow spur gear. It has a terrible acceleration. It has the best speed pairing, and it is terribly bad in climbing. So, in summary, in terms of the acceleration, the speed, and the climbing, the low speed is best in terms of acceleration and climbing, but the high speed gear or the super speed gear has a bad acceleration, bad climbing, but compensates for the speed. So if the track has more straights, more flat out layout, then this would be the pairing to go. We really hope you learned something from us. We really want to help the new racers that has just started their Tamiya Mini 4-wheel drive journey. As for the older racers, I hope that this will be a refresher video for you guys. We thank you for watching our videos. We really appreciate any comments coming from you. You can always write your comments in the comment section, and we would really appreciate any feedback from you guys. So on our next video, we will be discussing motors, so we hope that you would also tune in. That would be a very interesting topic. So from us, we thank you and good night.